Xbox is and always has been terrible at managing, but especially developing their first party studios. And I think the closure of the initiative today is a depressing but clear example of this. And while there are layoffs across all of Microsoft, and I'm going to be talking about those in a separate video, I want to hyper focus on the initiative today because I think if they don't address the underlying problem here, this is going to keep happening. To fully tell the story, we need to go back around 7 or 8 years where Microsoft is having a big first party output problem. I think even the biggest Xbox fan can admit that the Xbox One was a low point for the company. And Microsoft seemed to be keenly aware of this because they spent a lot of money on buying their way out of the problem. They went on a massive acquisition spree, buying everything from small indie studios to massive publishers. And to be fair, the strategy worked. Most of their recent first-party successes have come from the recent acquisitions. A lot of those studios were also from publishers that were operating pretty independently and kind of already have a managerial system down separate from Microsoft's internal structure. Which brings us back to the initiative, because around the time they started doing these acquisitions, they also created a brand new studio called The Initiative that was set up in Los Angeles and was supposed to be poaching talent from other successful studios in the area to form like in a new initiative of a new AAA studio for Microsoft. And they did successfully poach a lot of successful talent from other studios like Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and other big ones in the area to come over and help start this new studio. So there was no lack of experience at the studio. By every metric, it should have been an absolute slam dunk rockstar team. And yet, over the last 7 years, there's been nothing but news of turmoil coming out of the studio, with a director leaving, or the project feeling directionless, or needing to enlist the help of Crystal Dynamics to get the game back on track. They weren't even developing a new IP, they were developing a reboot to Perfect Dark, which any game requires a ton of work, but at least if you're working with an established IP, you have a jumping off point. And while they haven't had troubles nearly to the same extent, I don't think anyone would argue that Gears of War is better under the Coalition than it was under Epic, or that Halo is better under 343 Industries than it was Bungie, or that Rare's general quality has overall eroded under Microsoft's management. Things coming out of Bethesda and Double Fine have overall been great, but those companies have internal structures that have already been well established before Microsoft. What I'm saying is that when it comes to incubating new or emerging studios, Microsoft has a real managerial problem that they need to address. It doesn't matter how much talent you buy, if you can't maintain that talent, we're going to see more initiatives in the future, and I don't want to see that. But what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, give me a follow.